Yes, you read the title correctly. I quit scrolling cold turkey for 1 week. You think you could do it? I know it sounds like something super simple, but for a lot of people, it's not so easy. And I thought I would document my journey as I confidently quit social media for a week. And yes, I am coming to you very humbly in my bed with no makeup, a full head of pin curls. This is a new look I'm trying out, so don't judge. I totally feel like a 50s housewife, so I really hope it turns out well. And in my comfy emotional support IKEA robe, which I have definitely fallen in love with more than I thought I would. Oh, and I'm no longer in our crusty, busted house that we were living in. I'm so thankful that we are not there anymore. Things look a little plain right now, but I'm hoping to really spruce up this room soon. Anywho, I filmed this vlog quite a while back. As you can tell, I'm in our old house when I'm filming it, and I just never did anything with it because I didn't feel like it was that good of a vlog. But then something happened. Something unexpected. Spoiler alert, it was difficult, more difficult than I thought it was going to be to go a week without scrolling. Like I said, I was very cocky in the beginning, thinking it would be a breeze, but I actually work a job where I don't have to be busy all the time, and so I have a ton of free time, but at the same time, I can't focus on or give too much of my attention to something for long periods of time, if that makes sense. So scrolling or reading is ideal for me, but I also don't like to be reading because then I feel like I'm paranoid that that comes off as like rude or lazy. And so I stopped doing that. When I first started, I did read a lot, but I just opted for my phone because then I just felt like, if people did see me on my phone a lot, they would think, how would they know that I'm not working? Like maybe I'm doing work on my phone. I don't know. That's just my whatever. So in my free time, I would scroll. And a lot like other people too, it's not just like a way to fill time when you genuinely have nothing else to do or want to do anything else, but it also does relieve stress. Does it actually? The science is actually telling us that it doesn't. And what we're doing is actually numbing out. So all that to say, after this week, being without social media, wanting to get back on it, but also at the same time, almost living in denial, thinking that, oh, there's nothing wrong with the fact that I like to scroll or that I scroll at work because I'm not actually addicted. See, I took a whole week from doing it. I didn't cheat, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You're still addicted, just like everyone else. It doesn't matter if you're not spending as much time on your phone, like you're still opting to scroll to numb out. Yeah, so that was a hard pill to swallow. So after I left the first stage of grief, which is denial, I then moved on to this bigger epiphany that I had, that me and most of the world are nostalgic for a time where cell phones didn't exist. Whenever you were bored, you called someone on the phone, you watched a good movie. And like, yes, that's another form of distraction and entertainment, but it requires you to hold your focus for a lot longer. So I do think that is different. Yeah, it just led me to this epiphany of, is this really what I want to be wasting my life on? Like, I felt like I had become far too nihilistic about social media. And as I actually reflected on it more after I filmed the video, got back on social media and started editing it, I was like, wait, why am I even doing this? Why am I even getting on here? Why am I even posting? That was the biggest question that was resonating with me over and over. And I even did some journaling around it, was why do I even care to post? Now, quick disclaimer, I want you to know that if you have a certain goal or vision around social media and being a presence on social media, aka a content creator, because you genuinely enjoy making a certain kind of content and you have a goal to grow and maybe make that a job, more power to you. I am all for that. I think that's great. I think that's the wonderful thing about this digital age, is that people can monetize on it. Now, influencers, that's a little bit different of a conversation. I don't necessarily have a super positive outlook on being an influencer, But if that's your cup of tea too, then that's awesome. Then all power to you. It is a job. It is another form of content creation and a way to make a living. I think that's a different conversation. But for this conversation alone, if you are not trying to be one of those two things, if you are not a brand that you're trying to grow, I really beg the question, why? Why do you feel the need to post all the time? And why do you feel the need to consume other people's lives? And that's the question that was really resonating with me. And when I really got honest with myself, it was just to numb out. It was just to be entertained. And I feel like I am naturally such a creative person. I mean, I've written 2 books. I have a jewelry line. I have so many more aspirations for myself in the creative realm that I'm like, I'm better than this. I don't need to do this. And you know what? It honestly made me think just how weird it is that we all just share our lives online for people to see, people that we know and people that we don't know that maybe we hope will watch. For what? If your end goal, it, like I said, is not to grow or use social media to your advantage to make money, then it's like, why are we putting all this stuff out there for the literal world to see if they wanted to be on there forever? Like, that's actually really weird. And I just think with the rise of AI, especially, that this is actually something that can be very dangerous. I almost feel like it feeds a bit into narcissism. I really hate using that word loosely, but I don't know what else to equate it to. Maybe egocentrism. I don't know. I feel like needing to be seen all the time, doing the most mundane, everyday things and letting people into your life, it also begs another question. What is sacred to you? Is nothing sacred anymore? So I began to ask myself, if I want to feel calm, if I want my life to feel slow, if I want my life to feel more sacred, then why am I posting? So I quickly put my Instagram account on private, and I deleted a ton of posts. I unfollowed a ton of people and removed people that I felt were monitoring spirits or people that weren't really in my life anymore. I decided that I would keep my TikTok because it has the largest following, and I do have a goal of boosting my jewelry brand on there. And I just feel like my main TikTok page as an artistic creative outlet would be good. I love sharing my journal prompts, my just like inspirational and spiritual things on there. So I wanted to keep it for that reason. And who knows, like maybe when my jewelry brand Neptune's collection, like maybe if it grows more, I could do some more like behind the scenes things, basically for that, right? So now I have like a pure intention for why I'm keeping that outlet of social media. YouTube obviously is to have like meaningful conversations like this and to share a little bit of my life, because I do like consuming long form vlogs and long form content. But when it came to Instagram, I actually set a time limit of 45 minutes a day. Now, the reason I didn't delete Instagram altogether is because instead of deleting it altogether, let's limit people's access to me, limit my daily usage of the app, and start there. And that's been really great so far. I hardly ever even reach the 45-minute limit now. And then for TikTok, I still have my no phone in bed rule, or like if I'm really craving just like laying down and scrolling, I'll give myself that. And then once I like feel, I'll either set a time limit, or if I just feel like I'm just getting that icky feeling of scrolling to scroll, I stop. I spend a lot more time outdoors. I made a list of goals that I have for myself this year, and then I kind of did like a branch off of that of things I can do in my free time when I want to scroll instead of actually scrolling. This is what I can do to work on those things. And that's not to say like that you always need to be productive, or I don't want to feed into like over productivity culture, but it's still just not good to be sitting there on your phone scrolling into the oblivion and like draining your dopamine and all of that. I've basically just streamlined my life. Nothing is out of balance. I actually had a friend a while back who didn't have Instagram. I think she had it when we were in high school, and then maybe she deleted it in college. And just for years, I was like, why don't you have Instagram? Why don't you have Instagram? And, she was just like this beautiful, smart, funny person. And I just was like, that was like the egotistical part of me, is like, why don't you want to show yourself off and like show what you're doing? And her reason for not having it was more so she felt like she got on there and saw maybe the very positive aspects of other people's lives and compared it to her own, and then that made her feel bad about herself. And I think that is a very valid thing that a lot of people do. And that is also another reason to not consume social media. Because if you don't have social media and you don't have access to all those people, then you don't have a lot to compare your own life to. And like, sure, we have celebrities, sure, we still have like news outlets and stuff like that. But if you're controlling your exposure to something, then you can limit those negative feelings and like bad spirals. So going through this process has kind of like brought that to the forefront of my mind. I can't be the only one. So that's why I decided to make this video. I really hope it resonates with somebody else, maybe inspires you to get off your phone for a week, or maybe get off an app for good. Like I said, going into this, I was like, it's not forever. And that's what kept me strong during this challenge. Little did I know coming back that it actually it gave me more of a reality check about what I was feeling. And I think that, that's what these apps are designed to do. They're designed to make us feel numb to things. They're designed to make us feel like more nihilistic. And even with TikTok being a much more positive space, we were never even meant to consume this much information all the time. And that's one thing I know personally for me. I don't necessarily compare my life to other people online. I don't think I have a problem with that. I'm very content. And I have such a strong conviction and belief system that I don't feel like I ever really get pulled into that kind of negative headspace. My thing is like the information. And, I'll be scrolling. I'm very into health and wellness, and I'll be scrolling and I'll see something about like, if you're like this, then that means you have this. And I will legitimately sit there spiraling, being like, oh my God, do I have that? Do I have this illness? Do I have this thing wrong with me? Do I have this genetic mutation? Like, it's just noise. It makes my head feel so polluted. I've already got enough going on up there. I've already got enough analyzing, spiraling, all of that. I don't need to add fuel to the fire by consuming so much social media. I don't remember what point I'm on at this point. I'm so sorry. I'm very type B. Social media was something to make us feel more connected to people. And while it does to an extent, I feel like because we have it, we don't make as much intentional time to actually be with people, face to face and make connections. Like, we all have like this weird social anxiety where we don't want to go and try and meet new people, and be a part of groups and communities outside of anything that's not online. And I also think that, if I see that my best friend is on social media all the time, oh, she got a promotion, oh, she's at the beach, oh, she's doing this, then I'm not actually needing to spend the time to have a phone call, have a FaceTime, text, like, to actually have a one-on-one connection with them, because I see their life playing out on an app. And you could argue, well, you could DM them and this and that. Sure. But I feel like at the end of the day, like, not a lot of people actually do that. Like, it is mainly us just taking everyone's life in and not actually spending time with the people we care about enough to understand and know what's going on in their life. You should feel really comfortable and good about the fact that you can go home and have like a cozy night in and whatever, and not feel like you need to share it with everyone. I'd seen a post or, a video or something the other day that was like, stop performing for an audience. Basically meaning like, stop doing everything for social media, because that's truly how I felt like I was living my life. Now, mind you, I graduated high school in 2013. I grew up when Instagram had like just started, and it was really fun back then because you would just like take a picture, post it, and then like you kind of just like posted and ghosted. Like, we didn't have stories, like we weren't constantly on the phone. That really resonated with me because I do feel like I feel gross like every time I reach for my phone. And like, even if I want to post like a beautiful meal or like a coffee or whatever, it's like, why? why am I performing for an audience right now? Why can I not just have this thing and let it be this sacred moment that I enjoy with myself or like with my husband? Why do I feel like I need to literally, you are literally broadcasting it to the entire world to see? I mean, unless you're on private. And you know, the whole like early 2000s romanticizing it is coming back around on TikTok. That's like one of the trends right now. And I'm not gonna lie, that I love that. I gobble that stuff up. But it really makes you think like, well, the reason that was such a romantic time, not only because of like pop culture back then, but it was like because we didn't have cell phones. It was like right before we had smartphones. So obviously we had cell phones, but it was right before smartphones were a thing. And we didn't all have constant access to each other, and we weren't performing for an audience. I'm going to leave it at that. Welcome to a new vlog. It's Monday, and I think I'm going to try to not go on social media this week. I don't really get on social media that much anyway now these days, except for TikTok, as well as YouTube, but I don't really count YouTube as social media because it's long form. So I think I'm gonna cheat a little bit and still allow myself YouTube because it's like TV, and allow myself to do TV. I think if I tried to cut out all of that at once, that would be insane. Not impossible, but just ridiculous because I'm not gonna have like no entertainment. So this week I'm gonna cut out Instagram and TikTok, anything where I can scroll basically, minus Pinterest, because that is actually gonna be part of some creative stuff that I need to do this week. And I'm mainly doing this just to see how I feel, and yeah, to see how I feel, because I have been wanting to delete Instagram, my personal one, altogether, and just keep my business one, and really limit TikTok, which I've already done a good job of. But I just want to see how I feel, because I'm trying to not say that I'm anxious. I deal with anxiety, and even more so in the last year, working a job where I have to be at the same place at the same time every day. And so I want to see if not scrolling helps with that. And I do work at a job where I have so much free time that I am scrolling all the time. I want to instead replace the time I use for scrolling with working on my book, working on my jewelry brand, journaling. I do also think that it is a way to substitute productivity. And it just makes you more anxious to sit there and scroll. Now with Pinterest, it's more like a slow, intentional scroll, and you're also looking for certain things on it, and it's not social. I just got to work, I'm having my coffee, and I'm watching YouTube. I saw a video of someone going a week without it, and I was like, you know what, that's actually just another sign that I need to just lock in and do this. So this really sucks too, you guys, because I'm about to start my period, and that's the time where I just want to numb out and just be on my phone. So what are the goals? The goals are to see if A, I'd be more productive. I have Sharpie on my phone. B, if I would feel more creative, and C, if I would feel less stressed by doing this. Let's see how this goes. Realtor Assistant Janae. Okay, it's 9:15 and I already like want to go on TikTok. But I'm not going to. So I'm currently on a walk. It's been a very long day. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of stressful. So I was like, you know what? Let me try and get in my steps where I can. But it kind of sucks because when I'm feeling like this and I have a long walk, I just want to scroll on TikTok and it makes it go by faster. But you know what? It's not good for my neck to hold up my phone. And the whole reason I'm taking a walk instead of just doing Pilates is to ground myself. So I'm gonna do this walk. It was really hard not to, like, I wanted to scroll social media so bad after my lunch today. I did a couple things to keep busy until 2. And then I was like, I just want to get on TikTok. This is a good activity to do as well because I hate coming home and being on my phone, and I've already kind of set the habit of no phones after 9 and kind of just like keeping my phone in my purse until I need to check it once more before bed. And honestly, I usually like to be in bed by 9:30 so that I can wake up on time. So now that I'm walking, I'll probably be walking until 6:30, go home, make dinner, watch a little bit of TV while I'm making and eating dinner. Darren's not home tonight, so, you know, that'll be like another hour. And it's basically time to get in bed. So we're doing good. Day 1, we're doing good. I'm currently at work and I barely got any sleep last night. I'm exhausted and I literally just want to get on my phone right now and scroll. But I can't. And I'm about to go in a meeting that I don't want to go into. But last night ended up being fine. Last night was good. It is now evening. I am extremely tired because I barely slept last night. So I'm going to make this gigantic Whole Foods pizza and probably pass out on the couch and take a nap and watch Suits to my heart's content tonight and do nothing else. I really wish I could have scrolled like the later half of today at work. Like, I'm really missing TikTok. It's so ridiculous, but I actually end up like finding things to do and distract myself in that way until work is done. I don't have anything personal that I can really work on right now or like that I care to. Yeah, this is where we're at. Good morning. It is day 3 and it's been good so far, but I'm not gonna lie, I already want to get on my phone and scroll. I'm watching a podcast instead, and I just did some journaling and now I actually feel really good, and I'm glad that I did that. And it's so funny because on Sunday I actually wrote, I was journaling and I prompted myself to journal about what I have accomplished and what my goals are for the week ahead. And I already forgot that I did that. And so when I just now went back to reflect, I realized I have already done all of the things on the list that I wanted to this week. And one of them was to read or stretch when you want to doom scroll. Well, I decided not to even use social media this week, so that's perfect. And I realized the only thing I haven't done on this list is meal prep, and I can still do that because it's Wednesday. So I'm proud of myself. It's currently 10 a.m. We'll see how the rest of the day gets on. Last day of our social media detox, and I'm outside enjoying time in nature with my cat before I head off to see Wuthering Heights for the second time and do a few other things on this Friday night. And I really wish I could just stand here and scroll on TikTok. So how am I feeling today? You know, oddly enough, I feel like time is passing just as quickly. I find other ways to occupy my time, but I would be lying if I said I didn't want to just get on my phone and scroll a little bit while I had this free time. It not being on social media at all, it does truly make your life feel like you have way more free time. And I know that's like common sense, but I think when you're in the routine of something, you kind of lose sight. So it's definitely, this week has inspired me to cut back a lot more than I already have on certain apps and really just like use the time that I think is a healthy enough amount to allot myself to like the things that I actually enjoy. I wouldn't necessarily say that I have felt more creative not being online. but I don't feel as influenced. Like, I don't feel like my ideas are as influenced. I feel like I can draw that more from within, if that makes sense. Yes, I'm ready to be a part of the functioning social media world society again. So, and like, honestly too, like, I just find a lot of good music on TikTok. I feel like my For You page is very curated, and I think that's okay, that is probably why I love TikTok so much in general, is because you can curate it to be mostly things you want to see, and you can also go over and just look at the people you follow, which you can't really do on any other apps. So yeah, maybe one day I will fully be off social media, but that day is not today. I hope this video of me with my wacky hairstyle inspires you to put your phone down, to live in the moment a little bit more, and to really ask yourself why. What is your intention with social media? And maybe on another level, to ask yourself, what is your intention in life? Is it to live more in the present, or is it to live for other people? Because if you're not building a life that is satisfying and beautiful to you in a way where you can enjoy it without needing to share it with others, then is it really your life? Maybe I gave you a few journal prompts. Thank you for listening, and if you have watched this entire thing until the end, tell me what is one ritual, one thing that you do that is so sacred to you?